This episode of the MMA Complex podcast is brought to you by HollowRockGear.com.
Go to HollowRockGear.com, register at the site, and use the promo code COMPLEX15 to get 15% off your order. It is some of the best sports apparel money can buy. Again, go to HollowRockGear.com.
Welcome to another edition of the MMA Complex. My name is James.
And my name is Josh.
And we're coming off that big, huge UFC 202 card that happened this past Saturday in Las Vegas. Josh and I are going to discuss one of the big storylines coming out of that Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor fight. And on today's show, we have Combate Americas bantamweight Kyra Batara talking about her new fight at Rizin and much, much more. So we'll get into that shortly. But first, we'll get into some UFC 202 talk. It was a crazy weekend, Josh. We had, well, for me and for you, for me, because I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and we had Ring of Honor on Friday, New Japan on Saturday, NXT Saturday, UFC 202 on Saturday. It's in SummerSlam on Sunday, so it was
a busy schedule for you.
I think it was like over 10 hours of wrestling, and it's still continuing tonight with Raw and SmackDown. But
I was just pretty much gearing up for 202. I went to the Guns N' Roses concert on Friday.
How was that, man?
That was awesome right there. They're playing at Dodger Stadium. That was sick. Yeah.
I was going through my news feed on my Facebook and I saw your stuff. I was quite jealous, man. You know, but that video
it was a last minute thing. But the show was great, but it was so long. It was like 26 songs. And 26 set list, and I mean, for a diehard fan, I'm sure you would eat it up and you would be loving every minute of it. But me, who is more casual and only really knows the hits. I mean, it was a pretty long show, but it was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Axel sounded good. It's called Slash sounded great. They put on a great show, a bunch of pyro and fireworks. And
was it like very dramatic, like their stage? And
there was a lot of images and just they had a pyro all the time. It was a really good show. Axel changed like 10 times his wardrobe. He had like a different shirt and a different jacket.
What a prima donna!
Yeah, he had decked out in jewelry. Yeah. And he looked like Axel, a bloated older version of Axel. Yeah. But I mean, he sounded good. He looked like his. He didn't look messed up or anything like that.
That was Friday, right?
That was Friday.
Yeah.
Friday was 202 was just like, oof.
Yeah, because Friday I watched Ring of Honor, and then I woke up extra early on Saturday to watch the Super J Cup, and then I watched NXT. And by the time 202 rolled around, I was already tired in my bed. But yeah, I mean, the biggest event of the weekend, as far as newsworthy and the fight itself, is obviously UFC 202 with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, and it was a very close fight. I think a lot of people. I mean, I think Nate Diaz's fan scored it for Nate. If you watch it, being non-biased, and Conor McGregor clearly won that fight.
Yeah.
And after the fight, Nate Diaz wanted a rematch.
Yeah.
Like a rubber match, because obviously Nate won the first, Conor won the second. They want to do it again for the third time, but Dana White isn't really up to having a third fight just yet. Do you want to see a third fight between them? And if so, do you see Conor McGregor winning the fight again?
It's tough because, I mean, I think, again, I saw it at home. You went to see it at a bar, at a bar, huh?
Yeah.
It's different atmosphere when you're watching like that, because you had to watch it again to really see who was the clear-cut winner, because I can imagine being in a crowd that's like back and forth.
Yeah, it was all pro Nate Diaz fans.
Yeah, so. Mostly, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a third. I would watch it. I'll pay to see it. I'm not like dying to see it. I don't need to see it because I mean, just basing off what I've seen what I have seen in the first two fights, it doesn't seem like skill wise. And yes, I know Nate finished Conor in the first fight, but Conor has that edge and skill. And it's normally just that conditioning and that size difference is what really is the battle for Conor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we saw in the third fight, the second fight, in the third round, going into the third round, he was like, I mean, the energy level for Conor was like, boom, just dropped. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, how did he get so tired, man? Mm-hmm. And it's really just that weight, the size of Nate that really affects Conor. I think more so than Nate himself.
Yeah.
So do I want to see a third? I would pay to see it. I don't need to see it. I think there's a lot of options for Conor. I think we'll get into that too. But yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see that fight again only because it's tied 1-1 as we speak, and
there you go.
And anytime anything's tied up, you want to see a clear cut winner.
Yeah.
So I think seeing a third fight would be very interesting. But I agree with you, man. I think if Conor was the same size as Nate, then it'll be a different story. I think Conor wins that fight 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But I think Nate Diaz relies on his boxing, his size. Because when Nate pressured him against the fence, it took a lot of energy from Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was a big factor in that fight. But I think a great thing that's going to happen in this next fight is going to be at 155, which is a weight class that should be really interesting to see how things play out.
That'd be a good difference if they go to 155.
Yeah,
they'll meet somewhere in the middle for both of them.
Yeah, So, but I think Nate is Conor's that rival that Conor needs.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy fight. For because Nate is tough. His he's well rounded. I mean, it's not an easy fight at all. That's another thing that wears on a fighter.
Yeah, and what's also awesome about those two competitors is that there's a mutual respect that's very visible. Nate helps him up after the fight. They embrace.
Yeah,
I think Nate can respect Conor for going out the distance with him and those guys. I mean, Nate isn't easy, Conor isn't easy. I think they both realize how much of a competitor they are against each other. So that's another factor. But having that fight at 155 would be a big storyline coming into that fight, and I want to see a third fight.
I wouldn't mind seeing a third fight. It was a good war. I mean, the only thing is, I know Dana was saying that he's not interested in doing a third one right away. So, but I think a rubber match is necessary for any type of good rivalry.
Yeah, especially a fight like that, like those two guys bring the build up, and then the fight they deliver.
Yeah, look at Keane and Dos Santos. They took a little while between maybe the second and the third, or I mean, mainly because of injuries. But
I think this trilogy is more competitive.
Yeah, this one's more competitive for sure.
Dos Santos.
Yeah, Kane was like a clear winner.
Yeah. Like one of the big storylines coming out of that fight. Well, not storylines, but both Conor and Nate, they scored as far as paydays, man. I think both guys made the most money in UFC history. I don't know, there was talks about
Brock them somewhere in the middle, but yeah.
There's talks of them making up to $10 and $15 million each guy.
Yeah.
What do you think about that situation? Like those guys are earning that much money, or do you think that it should be that with all the fighters in the UFC?
It's a crazy amount with the projected 15 and 12 total. Yeah. But I know in early on it was it was $3 million for Conor, $2 million for Nate, which I think was just either show or win money, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing reports of 15 to 12. I got to look into that too, because I saw that too, where there was 15 and 13 or whatever. But early on it was 3 and 2. But either way, they're millionaires. And I know the biggest Brock made 2.5.
Yeah, for his last fight. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was somewhere in the middle, and they were up there with that Brock money, and even Nate. I mean, he's much well deserved.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that guy.
Yeah. Huge, man. I mean, hopefully we start to see that more. Paydays like that. I know all fighters are I mean, you look at the difference in terms of what Nate and Conor got paid to the rest of the card is a huge difference.
Yeah, it goes back to 8,000, 10,000. So
yeah,
it's a big difference.
Yeah, I think Glover and Johnson made like a little over 100 grand.
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, it's a problem that needs to be addressed. But I think mixed martial arts is still a very young sport. I think in 5 years, I think we can see those fighters making that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not an excuse saying that just because it's a young sport, they should be paid this much money. I think all fighters should be paid that much money as Nate and Conor. I think they consider training camps, consider them losing their sponsors and all that comes to the factor. Like these guys should be being millionaires, considering the fact that they're putting their livelihood on the line.
Yeah, for sure. I think, but there's a lot of factors that are going to have to come into play in order to even get that build those big paydays. A lot of it revolves around the whole Reebok restrictions. They can't get money from sponsors. They can't get other sponsors to get into the fight games easily. I think unions, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit, is a big thing.
Yeah.
To get those big paydays. There's a lot of things that are going to go into it, and not everybody's going to make the big money.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to make the big money.
No. And also, Dana White said, he made it clear that he has to defend that title, the 145-pound title, before he can fight Nate, and I'm happy with that. I feel bad for the 145-pound fighters. Their division is on hold because Conor wants to do other things. But Conor in the press conference was very confident, saying that there's something big in the works before he can even announce something. What do you think that is, man? Do you think that it's something with pro wrestling? Is it another big money fight?
That's true. That's another thing I didn't think about that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that whole ordeal? And do you think it's going to be something like that?
I mean, I think there's a lot of options for him. I think it's, in a way, it's good for the sport that McGregor won. Diaz, I couldn't really, even if he won, I couldn't really see a whole lot of options for Nate in terms of big matchups.
Yeah.
Unless it's for a title, I don't really see anything for him out there that's going to give him that kind of money. McGregor has all the options now, especially winning. He could fight for that 155-pound title. He could rematch Aldo and unify that belt again. He could. What else could he? Who could he do? The third fight with Diaz. Those are all big money fights. I'm sure Diaz is hoping for that, another big payday. And outside of the octagon, definitely the WWE. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because how that war he's had with the WWE.
Yeah, he planted that seed.
Yeah, he planted that seed already. They could easily put him on a WrestleMania, and there's a big payday right there for him.
Because Vince pays a lot of money.
Yeah, Vince pays, man. So there's that. And if you want to talk boxing, there's Mayweather, which was already in talks. Or Amir Khan is chasing after Conor. I saw a post today that Amir Khan's after 202, he was like, I'm waiting for Conor to call me. Let's talk.
But a good fight.
That'll be a good fight.
For boxing is Andre Ward.
That'll be a good one.
Someone that trains with Nate Diaz, and they can play off that whole
you can play
team.
The whole rivalry.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options for him, and like you said, there's dollar signs attached to those options. I think if I was booking the UFC, I think either have him defend that 145-pound title, or maybe fight for the 155-pound title, vacate that 145-pound title, and fight Alvarez. I think he can beat Alvarez. Yeah, and he can become that 155-pound champion, and have Nate. You can have Nate fight Conor for that 155-pound title as a third fight.
Yeah, I don't think they really need to strip him of the title. I mean, I think he's going to have to fight Aldo at some point.
Well, he has to defend that belt.
He's got to defend that belt.
Because that division's on hold pretty much.
Yeah, or now I guess he's got to unify it. But really, I don't even know why they did the whole interim anyway, because...
Well, they did it to have that title.
Some type of title in place.
Yeah, to get the pay-per-view money up.
Because it was Dos Anjos. It was going to be a one-off fight with Dos Anjos. And then that pulled out. Nate stepped in. That's what started this whole rivalry. Yeah. So they had to do a back-to-backs because McGregor lost. But I don't see. I don't know. It would be nice to see him go into maybe a fight with Alvarez as a champion. So it'd be champion against champion. That'll be good. I don't see a reason why they need to strip him, and to be the first to hold two belts at the same time, which I think he could probably beat Alvarez.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad matchup
for Alvarez, unless Alvarez just holds him down. But stand up, I think it's going to be a tough fight because Alvarez likes to take shots, and I don't think you could really take that many shots from Conor.
No way.
And then I would like to see outside of the octagon, either WWE or maybe Amir Khan. That'll be a fun fight. Yeah. I don't know where. I don't know if it'd be UFC or boxing ring, but I know Amir wasn't too opposed to going into
the octagon.
So
I mean, if we're gonna see that fight, it's gonna be an octagon because I doubt Dana White would even allow Conor to fight outside the UFC. So It would have to be a mixed martial art competition, which would be a bad idea.
And another thing I completely forgot. Well, got reminded of when I saw one of Connor's posts is that he doesn't even need to. It's not talking to Lorenzo and Dana anymore. He's got to negotiate with the WME and IMG guys now.
And those guys are all about entertainment.
Those guys are all about entertainment. So negotiations might be completely different. He's like, I think one of them, he was like, oh, I want to, Lorenzo isn't here. I was sad to see him not being here, but, I'm going to have to talk with the new owners and see how that goes. And I'm like, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
And Dana has no say in it anymore.
Not really, no. He's like a small owner, share owner.
Yeah, so this whole era of the UFC, this new era, is really interesting.
Really interesting to see how his relationship is with the new guys.
Yeah, because those guys already, came out and said they want to make, these UFC stars as movie stars. So they want those guys to be in the spotlight. Of entertainment. So I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Conor the blessing to go to boxing.
And one of the guys, and it's weird to hear. Did you hear at the end of the broadcast where they were talking, going through the credits of all the producers and stuff like that, and they named the WME and IMG guys. And like Ari Emanuel.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy hearing that because it wasn't Lorenzo Fertitta and Dana White and all them anymore.
That's crazy.
That was weird to hear.
But they saw the Zuffa logo at the end.
Did they have the Zuffa logo at the end? I didn't even realize that. I don't think I saw up to that point.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird.
Which is kind of weird because I think Zuffa's going to be completely done with. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens next. Not for Conor, but like with the sport of mixed martial arts, and hopefully sooner rather than later, that we're going to find out what's going to happen with that. But first, let's get to our first guest. She's atom weight for Combate Americas. Kyra Batara talks about her new fight with Rizin and much more. So enjoy our interview with Kyra Batara. So we're here with Combate Americas atom weight Kyra Batara. Thanks for coming on the show. I know you were supposed to compete at Combate Ocho, but you had to pull out due to injury. How's your health right now? And also for the fans who live under a rock, kind of like announce your next fight coming up.
I was supposed to fight just a week ago on Combate Ocho. It was a really sick lineup. We actually had a lot of fights that ended up falling through. I was the co-main event. Eric Sanchez was the main event. And then whoever got bumped up to co-main event ended up getting injured. Eric got injured. I got injured. So it was kind of a mess, but everything worked out really good. The show was amazing. All the fights were great fights. And I felt good. I felt good at the fights. I rolled for the first time that weekend. It was about 2 weeks before that I was just doing nothing. I just kind of relaxed and worked. I didn't do anything. Campbell and Mike called me, and they're like, hey, you need to rest your leg. I know you don't know how to rest, but you need to rest it. And so I did nothing but just hang out with my family and watch a lot of fight tapes and went over all my previous fights in that time. And I felt like it's what I really needed to. And I was bummed that the fight fell through, but a good thing came from it. I'm now fighting for Rizin, which will be September 25th. And Mike actually got me that fight. He locked that in for me. He wanted me to be the representative for Combate Americas. So I'm glad that I get to be the one to go out there and represent.
Awesome.
Nice. Talk about like how long that process took from getting the in talks with Rizin and how much you were involved and how much like maybe Mike was involved in terms of getting you that fight.
I wasn't involved at all with it. I'm always kind of just in the backseat, like waiting for the fight to be. It took about 8 months to get that secured.
Wow.
It was a long time. They didn't tell me too much about it. I've only been signed with a Combate for I'll be a year September coming up. I'll be a year with them, but I was only under contract with them since my last fight in April. And so I love Combate. They're always doing great things for me. They've been wanting to have someone go and represent Combate for them, and they just really like my fight style. I've taken to them really well. I'm on a 3-fight win streak, undefeated under their banner, and so they thought that I'd be a really good fighter for them to take out there.
Now, is this a one and done fight for you, or is Combate going to allow you to have more fights outside of the promotion?
Yes, like I said, I was supposed to fight on this last card. Things fell through, but they do plan on it's still the road to the championship. They say that 3-fight win streak gets you a title fight. So I was promised a title fight, my next fight for Combate. No dates yet, but
Yeah.
it will be a title for them.
And like you were saying, do you plan on fighting outside the organization maybe sometime in the future? Is that like an open
Contract
in your contract that you can fight if they like obviously if they allow it and you talk with Combate and stuff?
No, I'm exclusive with them. I'm exclusive Combate.
Yeah.
The only reason I am fighting for Rizin is because they sent me there. Mike's actually going to be going there with me, either Mike or Campbell.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get some other Combate guys to go out there with me. There's honestly no one else that I would want to fight for. I could get the call from the UFC tomorrow, and I'd be like, I'm happy with Combate.
Yeah.
for sure. Well, I think Josh and I and you, we spoke, off record at Combate Ocho, at the weigh-ins, and you're pretty excited about possibly meeting your idol, Vanderlei Silva, or even having the opportunity to fight in Japan. How cool is it seeing your face and in Japan in that big billboard?
It was surreal seeing that picture. I saw it on Twitter just a few days ago, and I hadn't even signed a contract or anything. And I was like, "Whoa, I'm already on billboards! That's crazy."
Yeah.
So everything just felt. I was like, "Oh, this is so surreal! I can't believe I'm going to Japan. I've never traveled that far. It's one of, like you said, Vanderlei Silva might be there, and so Fedor's fighting on that card. This is a huge card for me. This is all the guys that I looked up to, when I first started training, they still look up to.
Yeah.
So to be able to fight alongside with them, to be in the same warm-up room as them, to be at weigh-ins with them, it's incredible.
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
And talk about your opponent too, Kanato. She's 3-0. She's a junior Olympic champion. You obviously know what her strengths are. What was your first impressions of her as an opponent?
I know she's a 3-time junior Olympic wrestler, and so I've seen just one of her fights. There wasn't too much to really study on her. I did some research on her. I saw a play-by-play. I actually went to San Diego this past week, and I trained with Boogeyman Richie Martinez, who she came and trained with for her last fight. And so I got some insight with that, especially with them being 10th Planet. They're telling me everything. So it was cool to be able to hear what they had to say about her. And I'm actually going to be working with Joe Daddy Stevenson. His wife fought her. And so I'm also going to get some really good insight with them. Madi's going to give me some good rounds and tell me what she thinks about that fight, about my style, what I should do for that game plan going into it. I don't like to simulate my training camps around certain fighters just because things do happen. Look, I pulled out of my fight. Eric Sanchez pulled out of his fight. You see, fights switching all the time. I was trying to fight Rizin's 105er, but she didn't take it. And so I got their 125er, who's dropping to 115 for me. These things happen, and I want to grow as a fighter myself. I don't want to be prepared just for one person. So, I know she is a really good wrestler, but this training camp is going to be more about my strengths. I'm going to go in there, the tougher fighter, be grimier, be faster, and outwork her and make her fight me.
Awesome. Now, for the fans who don't know your history, you used to be a cheerleader before, and you also did competitive dancing. How'd you get into the sport of mixed martial arts? Because it's kind of crazy being a cheerleader, then dancer, then now a fighter.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in 8th grade, and I was in competitive cheer for about 2 years. We traveled to Vegas. We did national tournaments. It was really high-level cheerleading, and my coach actually walked out on the team. She was just kind of tired of how the girls treated her, and so out of respect for her, me and my best friend walked out with her. After that, my dad was like, look, you need to do something. You can't just quit cheer and do nothing. You need to be in a sport. I've been training at Team Quest. I think that you would like it. I was always a daddy's girl, so I was like, I don't know. I don't want to wrestle with boys. This is gross. I'm a cheerleader. But he asked me to. I'd always watched the fights. I always watched the Pride fights with him. So I was a fan of the sport. I was familiar with the sport. I just never thought of actually being on the mats doing it myself. So I started training, and he was my partner for a lot of those practices. So it was really cool to be with my dad, hanging out with him, having that father-daughter time and that bond again, being able to hang out and talk about jiu-jitsu was the best.
Right.
So after that, I was training a few months. I got my first tournament, beat up some high school boys, and that was it for me. I was like, I love this. I want to just beat people up.
That's awesome.
Now, do you have any other brothers or was your dad kind of taking you under I'm going to show you my fighting interest and get you into that? And
it was me and my brother. I have a little brother and a little sister. My sister's 5'3" and all of 80 pounds, so she was like not a fighter.
Okay.
But I was always kind of like a tomboy growing up. I was the first, so I think he kind of like was like, oh, I want a son, but I love my daughter, so you can wear this, but we're still gonna go catch frogs.
That's awesome.
But I have a little brother too, so we both went in there. He was just a lot younger. He's 8 years younger than me, so he was in preschool at the time. So he did the kids class, but I got to do it with my dad. So it was cool. Like we got to watch him, and then I was training with my dad as a training partner.
Oh, awesome. You know, I really enjoy your dancing videos on Instagram. I die in laughter, man. It's freaking awesome. Do you still like dance? One night, like you still have that thing with the Queens for the Run, right, or something like that. That Queens for the Run? Yeah.
Oh, Queens on the Run.
Yeah. On the run.
Yeah, so actually I get to say that I'm a professional dancer now too.
Yeah.
I just got this opportunity. I was dancing and cheerleading forever. I come from a hip-hop background. I was a cheerleader on competitive team. And so just recently, after my last fight camp, I started just like, I was always the person in the gym, like looking in the classroom and being like, that's so dumb. Like, Zumba's dumb. Like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah.
And then I came back and my mom's like, hey, I've been doing these Zumba classes. You should try it. And I was like, I miss dancing. Like, I really miss dancing. And it's free. It's at 24-hour. Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I fell in love with everyone there. It was really nice just being able to, like, get away from the gym, get away from getting punched in the face for a little bit, and going back to my roots, being able to dance. And I think dancing helps a lot with fighting, with hand-eye coordination, with footwork, just staying loose, staying on beat. And so, and it gave me a really good balance, just being happy and dancing, and then getting my aggression out when I spar. Yeah. And so it was a good balance that I needed in my life. And after that, I started doing a lot more fundraisers. We did a Praying for Orlando event. And then after that, we did like another, it's called the Lucky Duck Festival. Okay. And it's for a children's hospital, raising money for that. That'll be in September as well. Okay. And then after that, I got approached by a lady that is Oprah Winfrey impersonation, and Tina Turner and Mary J. Blige.
Oh, wow.
And so she's like, hey, I'm going to come up, like, I do all these impersonations, and I'm going to have a show, Queens on the Run. I would love to have you come in. So me and my sister went to her tryouts, and she's like, yeah, you guys are going to be my dancers.
Nice.
So I'm going to miss the September one. The first show is September 23rd, and I'll be in Japan. Yeah. But the next one is a huge red carpet event at Silverton Casino in Vegas, and I'll be doing that in October.
Oh, cool. So when are you heading out to Japan? Because there's a big time difference. So how are you going to acclimate yourself to that? And when are you heading out there?
I was actually talking to Joe Stevenson about it a little bit, because he used to go out there all the time for Pride. Yeah. And he was telling me that I either want to get there a week or longer out there, or the day right before weigh-ins. And he said if you get, because I was thinking like 3 or 4 days, and he's like, that's the worst thing you can do. It's going to affect you a lot. And so that's something that I'm going to talk to Mike and Campbell about and be like, hey, like, I don't want them to have the advantage, me going in there and having the time mess with me. Yeah. And luckily this one's at 115, so it's not much of a weight cut for me. I'm used to fighting at 105. Yeah. But still, like, I want to be there and be fresh and feel good. So I'm thinking probably just the day before weigh-ins. Hopefully I get to stay there after. And
day before weigh-ins? Wow.
How does that work in terms of jet lag and time difference and getting used to that?
That's all something that I want to talk to Joe Stevenson about a little bit more, talk to Mike about a little bit more. I've heard so many different things. A lot of people are like, oh, you want to go there 2 weeks early, you want to go there a week early. And so I want to just kind of sit down with more people and be like, okay, what do you think? Like, I'm 21 years old, I'm going to adjust quick, like, I'm not cutting weight, so whatever is more convenient or whatever you think is going to be healthier for my camp. Whatever they need me for, I'll be ready regardless.
Yeah.
Now, Combate America it's an all Hispanic fighting league, and obviously you're Mexican, right?
Yes, I'm half Mexican, half Filipino.
Okay. So how is it, fighting for Combate and being that role model for Hispanic kids?
I love Combate. I love that they're the first Hispanic MMA organization. Like, you hear it all the time, like, Mexicans are just bred as fighters. Like, we just have fighting in our blood. Like, we put on great shows. And so I think it's awesome, just the heritage, and, like, being able to represent that is great. So I'm happy fighting for Combate Americas.
Awesome.
Well, we look forward to seeing you compete at Combate. We're looking forward to seeing you compete at Rizin. That's going to be awesome. Congratulations again on
I'm
that.
happy for you. It's awesome.
And thank you for being on the show.
And can
you just social media.
Yeah, around the family we can find you on social media and also plug in some of your sponsors as well.
Yeah, social media is the same for Twitter and Instagram. It's just my name, Kyra Batara, KyraBatara. You can find me on Facebook. I'm going to be posting a lot on where you can watch the fight. I know there's going to be a few different channels that you can watch my Rizin fight. There's going to be more interviews coming up. I'm going to be selling more walkout shirts, so make sure that you watch out for those. Thank you to my sponsors. First of all, thank you to Mike for getting me this fight. Mike and Cam are great with Combate Americas. I'm really happy to be fighting for them. Thank you, Palmer Electric. They're helping me a lot for this camp. ZQ Wraps are helping me with my diet. Real Water, keeping me hydrated. Valley Spine, Dr. Denny. He's my chiropractor here in Vegas. And Rev Gear, my gear sponsor. And Holy Sheets, sorry. I'm like looking at my mom in the corner.
Hi, Mom. One last thing. Like, your shirts are really awesome. Thank you.
My dad actually drew that. That was
no way.
My very first my dad got his degree in animation fresh out of college back in the day, and then before he worked in the hospital. And so now he drew me he was always drawing with me, and that was another hobby of mine outside of fighting is art. And so we were always drawing, and we liked watching cartoons and doing different like Disney characters. And so he designed the Mogwai from a South Park character, and so it's South Park version of a Mogwai, and then it has a Filipino and Mexican flag in
That's
the
really
Mogwai.
Awesome. Is there like a website that people can buy that, or is that just exclusive for your walkout shirt?
Right now, we don't have the website up and running quite yet, but I do have PayPal, so if you message me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I can get that out to people.
Awesome.
Or you can give it to us.
Yeah, I missed you at the fight.
I'm just joking. Well, best of luck with the training and your fight, Kyra. Thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care. Right. And that was Kyra Batara, Combate Americas, atomweight, and soon to be Rizin catchweight 115 fighter, which I'm looking forward to. Rizin, September 25th. Go onto their website, check your local listings, all that and more. And good luck to her, to Kyra on that fight and the rest of her career. And we'll obviously bring more. We'll probably bring her back on the show very soon at some point. Yeah, for sure. So thank you for Kyra for being on the show today.
Yeah, and follow her on social media. You can get all the info on her videos on her upcoming fight.
Yeah. And next we have a lot more to get to. Not sure if any of you out there have been aware of the Fighters Association, Professional Fighters Association, and the work that they did over the week for UFC 202. They were in Vegas. They were on, I think, Jeff, I forgot, Boris.
Boris, yeah. I think
right? Boris? Yeah. He was on Ariel Hawani's show discussing the Fighter Association. Really, really good interview. Mm-hmm. They held a press conference during the UFC 202 weekend, which was very entertaining, very insightful. There's a few fighters in attendance, like Matt Mitrione, who you can hear asking questions. It was really insightful. Looking forward to seeing how they progress. And there was a lot that came out of that press conference. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you can catch it on YouTube somewhere. I know some of the major outlets, MMA outlets like MMA Fighting, had it covered, at least recorded. So you could go check that out somewhere on YouTube. But it's very interesting, very insightful. I caught the press conference. I'm not sure if you did, but from what you've heard, what do you think of this Fighter Association with the people that are behind it? I know we might have talked about it a little while ago on the last episode, but with the work that they're doing over the press conference and what you saw when Jeff talked to Ariel, what was your takeaway?
It's promising. I think a lot of things that were set in stone sounds very difficult to put into place. Yeah. Obviously, getting people utilized is very difficult to do. But I think he's on a good track, and I think some of the things they pointed out is very promising. I think one thing that I didn't really was a fan of is that it's only going to be for the UFC. He said the UFC is a premier promotion for mixed martial arts. So he considers promotion like Bellator or like the sponsor like Combate and RFA to be like minor league shows. So he's only going to be focused on the UFC for right now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
For the UFC fighters, I think it's a good thing, considering they have USADA and then Reebok on board. I think there has to be some kind of what's on the word for compromise.
Yeah, compromise. Yeah.
For both the fighters and the company. So
yeah, I liked what he had to say on both the press conference and his interview with Ariel. I do. Yeah, I see that. I see why they're going for only UFC fighters, because I think what I'm thinking is that if you can change the UFC and get those guys to unionize, everybody else will pretty much is easy. It's like a domino effect.
Right.
So I can see why they're doing that, and I like the fact that he was open and to a lot of suggestions, and he said he was talking to fighters, and they were saying that some of the I think it might have been one of the fighters in attendance at the press conference, but saying that they would like to extend some type of help towards the retired fighters that are done fighting already, and he's all for that. And I like the fact that they're taking insight from fighters, and it's going to be a fighters run union, and they're doing something separate from the IMMAF, whatever, the one that's been around for a while, the association. I like what they had to say. There wasn't really anything I was unsure of or didn't disagree. I disagreed with them. I like his insight, and the guy seemed like a genuine person. And I think if anybody's really going to get it done, it's Jeff and the rest of his team, because they're heavy hitters in major sports.
Yeah. For sure, and I think he mentioned that they're going to be an association. So I think being in an association is different than being in a union. In a lot of ways. Yeah. A lot of ways, I think that there's more leeway in association. So I think that's a good thing. I think fighters need a voice, and then hopefully with this you get fighters coming out with better pay or fair pay, especially when it comes to revenue for television. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll see that in the future.
Yeah, they're looking to do that. Get revenue for television, benefits, pensions, you name it. Everything that you, like a normal union employee, I guess, would get, all the benefits that you would get.
Yeah, because that Fox deal, man, he is making millions, and none of that money is going towards fighters.
Yeah, and he even talked about his... he's got disagreements with Dana White already. Dana White said, I was asked about the union at a press conference for 202 and said that he knew nothing about it. He has no idea so he can't comment on it. Obviously, Jeff was a little insulted by that because he had called Dana and left him a voicemail several days before. So he's aware. He says he's aware of who I am.
Yeah, what's funny about that is that he was in attendance when Mark Ramondi from MMA Fighting asked the question. Yeah. He wasn't. He heard. He heard Dana for himself say that, and that's I mean, that's Dana being Dana. Yeah, and Dana always. He denied the whole UFC on sale report. He denied that, so you can't really take what Dana says.
It's and he talked about what got him into even thinking of starting a union for MMA fighters is the fact that he saw the original contract for Nate Diaz going into the Conor fight. And just thought it was complete garbage.
Well, he thought it was a joke.
He thought it was a joke. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I think he even met with Dana for completely different reasons, and asked him how come these fighters don't unionize, and he said, "Oh, they're contract, they're
independent contractors.
Independent contractors,
which is
bullshit. Yeah, which is BS, and because they're not treated that way, and left there saying that I'm going to unionize these guys."
Because once they put the uniform and then you sign to play, that makes them employees of the company. Yeah. Because they have to follow through with that.
Yeah, and some of the biggest problems that he's running into and finding out is the fact that a lot of the fighters don't have a problem with unionizing. They have a problem with retaliation. And
that's an eye opener. These fighters are scared out of their lives. That they're going to be fired from the UFC and have their livelihood taken away. And that makes the UFC look like bullies. Something that people already assumed that they were bullies, but having fighters come up to them and tell them that they're fearful of their jobs is an eye-opening thing.
Yeah, and now he's seeing that it's not just the fighters that he's gonna have to win over, but guys like Dana and other people who just won't return his calls or giving him the cold shoulder, and it's gonna be a battle. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I think this is probably the best chance that it's had like ever.
But I think that if we're still in the Lorenzo Fertitta era, I think it'll be more difficult to do.
Oh yeah.
But with these new owners, I think they're more. It's more likely to happen.
I think it's more likely to happen too, because if you look at how the Fertittas ran their casinos, they kept unions out of all their casinos, and they had lawyers that were skilled at keeping unions away. And now that they're out of the picture, I think it's a different ball game now.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with that.
I think the Fertittas got out of the business.
They're smiling eye to eye right now, cheek to cheek.
Yeah, because they got out of the business when at the best time.
And something they knew that she was going to come down.
Yeah, I think in a way they knew that the game was going to have to change, and I think it's about
smart.
Yeah.
I mean, they checked out.
So I think that the website is Pro Fighters Association.
Well, you can get Jeff's phone number too. His cell phone number
is on there.
We should call him and get him on the show.
That's true. We'll have him on the show hopefully soon. Yeah. So let me get it to you right now. It's profighters.org, and his number is on the website too.
Which is insane.
His personal cell phone number.
He was saying that people are calling for jobs.
Yeah, people are calling for jobs.
It's crazy.
And not just fighters asking questions, but as Jeff Boris.
I need a second job.
PFA.
I should hit him up.
Yeah, right. Profighters.org. So go check that out. Get all the info there. I think it's probably the best chance that this has ever had to come into fruition. So
for sure.
Yeah. Next up is obviously we're going back to UFC 202 because it was such a big event. A lot of things came out of that. One of the biggest things, I think, aside from Anthony Johnson knocking out Glover Teixeira and probably getting the next title shot, that's going to be a barn burner right there. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what's going on with John Jones, is Cody Garbrandt had another devastating first round KO, KOing Mizugaki. And now it looks like there's a big chance that he's next for Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz obviously in attendance. It was all like, come on, bring it on, bring it on. What do you think? Do you think Cody is next for Dominic Cruz? Do you think he has a really good chance to knocking out the champion, be the first to do it? What do you think?
I think it'd be hard to deny TJ after he beat Rafael Tasso.
That's true.
To get the next. It sounds so. Yeah, to get the next shot. But I think with Cody, what has him a favor in this and getting this fight is his mouth and the fact that he trains out of Team Alpha Male. The same gym as Dom's.
He already has a rivalry.
Yeah, number one rival was Uriah Faber, and if Dominic can beat Cody, which I think he will beat him. He can say he beat the Team Alpha guy, that whole gym by himself, single-handedly.
Yeah.
But I think what Cody's doing is smart. I think he's voicing his opinion on Dom, and he's really putting his name out there. And I think that's going to force the UFC to book that fight. Now, do I see Cody winning that fight? I don't at all. I think Dom's a smart fighter.
Yeah.
I think Dom can avoid that heavy shot from Cody. And he's seen guys in the past that try to go forward and try to power punch Dom, and it doesn't work for them.
It doesn't work.
Dom is a really good right-handed fighter. His wrestling's on point. He's really good at counter striking, and I think he can break down Cody and possibly either stop him or maybe decision.
I agree with you. I think he's one of the best prospects in that division to come forward in a little while. He looked good, and he's looked good. He's one of those sprawl and brawl wrestler type of guys. Avoids the takedowns. He can wrestle, but has that knockout power like a Chuck Liddell type of guy.
Yeah.
He's good, man. He looked good. He speaks well. I could see him being a top contender for a long time, but I don't see him being Dominic Cruz.
No.
I think Dominic is too smart. He's too good. He's a big guy for that division too.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, he's a veteran. I think he's too skilled. I think Cody is obviously the sprawl and brawl type of kind of guy. Dom, it's hard to pin that style down. I assume.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he has a puncher's chance.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but I think Cody's doing all the right things. I think
I think so too.
and I think people should follow suit. And too many people have opportunities to speak their mind, and they don't take that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cody's doing all the right steps. I don't think he's quite ready for Dominic Cruz right now. I think he should fight maybe a top 5 guy maybe, and see how he does against the top 5, because that bantamweight division is a really tough division. It's getting really stacked, like the 155-pound division. So I think a fight with the top 5 guy would kind of show you where Cody's at in his career.
Yeah. Also, Misha Tate's boyfriend,
Brian Caraway.
Brian Caraway, I think is it's hard. They're always associated with each other. It's like
say Mr. Tate.
Mr. Tate. Brian Caraway is a good option for Cody.
Yeah,
and
a fight that was supposed to cut. I mean, Cody's been calling him out for forever.
Yeah, those two guys at the top, so it's going to be either one of them, I think.
Yeah.
But I think Cody's got the momentum, so
for sure.
That's a huge big win for him, and I could see him getting the title shot for sure. Next up, you have this weekend is Bellator 160, huge event at the Honda Center. We're gonna get to our fight picks for that soon,
and we'll be there in attendance.
Yeah, and we got the return of Benson Henderson. He's again making his second appearance with Bellator. The first one didn't go so well. It was at welterweight. Now he's at 150, back at 155, fighting Patricky Pitbull. It's going to be a barn burner. It's a main event. And what do you think of Benson Henderson's chances of maybe getting his first victory in Bellator, finally proving himself as a top contender, and what his career, the possible futures of his career?
I can see Benson Henderson winning this fight against Pitbull. I think this is a good matchup for him. I think as long as he stays at 155, he has a great chance of being a successful fighter in Bellator. But I think fighting at 170 was he was biting more than he can chew, and you saw that in the size difference. I think 155
huge size difference.
So I think 155 is appropriate weight class for him. I think he can succeed if he stays at 155. He's talking about jumping around from 155 to 170. I think that's a bad idea. I think he should stick to 155. And I think he can be really successful there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if he stays at 155, 145, I think he'll be good if he can make 145. I don't even know if he can. Can he?
Probably nice.
Probably not. Big. 155 is where he should stay. 170, fighting the champ was too much for him. I think his career is going to be good. I think in terms of looking at that division, I think Benson's one of the best.
He stands out. Yeah,
it stands out definitely, especially not just because of his name. I think he's going to do good. I'm really excited for the Bellator 160 card overall, and his future in it. He was one of the first free agents in this whole free agent talk this past few months, or 6 months to almost a year now. There's a lot of guys who are free agents now. You got Cowboy, who's being tempted by Bellator with like almost a $325,000 purse for each one of his fights. They're luring him with big money.
Yeah, that's money.
Who else is a free agent right now? Lorenz Larkin's a free agent. Who's a former Scott Coker guy. What do you think of these guys as chances of possibly moving on away from UFC? Do you think they're gonna stay? Do you think they're going to go? What do you think?
Well, I think both Cowboy and Larkin are coming off of big wins.
Huge wins.
Yeah. I think someone like Larkin, I can see him going to Bellator for bigger money. With Cowboy, it's different. I think Cowboy, although he has trouble with the UFC as far as having patches on his shorts to represent his country and money. I think he's a company guy, and I think he wants to stay in the UFC. I think he should go to Bellator, where he can make that money. I'm all for fighters making as much money they can, because fighting has a very small window of opportunity. So I think he should take it. But if I was to project, I think Cowboy stays and Larkin goes.
Yeah, I think I'd predict them both to stay actually, because Larkin's coming off of a win over Neil Magny, which is a huge win. Yeah, puts him right up in the top 10 where he's been trying to work for. Cowboy's doing really well at welterweight. Just TKO Rick Story.
That was impressive. That combination that he landed was insane.
It was awesome. Yeah. I think UFC is going to have to fork over some big cash, but then we go back to the new owners, and in terms of how these negotiations are going to be with the new people. You know, if they're going to be able to get more money than they have previously, if these new owners are going to be more difficult, you know, it's
That's a big question mark.
I think it's a big question mark. I think the new owners is a huge thing, especially everybody's like Connor's going to have to deal with them, Cowboy, Lorenz, all these guys. It's a whole new ball game now, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I foresee them staying though.
Yeah,
I foresee them staying. Just
I mean, 2016 is crazy, man. I mean, this year alone, I mean, you have to see out the UFC, the new owners, and John Jones, and I mean, it's an incredible year for mixed martial arts.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention, this weekend is a huge event, so we're going to get to our fight picks right now. Bellator 160 takes place Friday at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. We'll be there in attendance. We're going to bring you all the action and more throughout the week. We have pre-fight workouts. We have the
media lunch.
Media lunch and press conference.
Media day.
Media day. We have the tailgate party in the beginning of the fight.
And the fight itself.
The fight itself. We're going to bring you a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we're in. I'm excited.
Yeah, so Bellator 160, make sure you stay tuned to the iTunes and especially the YouTube channel so you can get all of the content and interviews that we're going to bring you. Yeah. A bunch of stuff. So be prepared. Be prepared for that. That'll probably start Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll go over the main card for Bellator. Obviously, on the card itself, you have Chizo Machida, who's going to make his debut. You have Benson Henderson and Patricky Pitbull on the main events, and just in the main card itself, you have AJ McKee, which is Anthony McKee's. I think that's his name. I forgot. I'm sorry, but that's his son. So against Cody Walker, who do you have with this?
I have AJ in this fight.
You have AJ?
Yeah.
I have AJ too. AJ's a really, really nice prospect that Bellator has. Obviously, some really good lineage coming from, where his father, MMA veteran.
Yeah.
Then you have Bubba Jenkins and Georgi Karakhanyan in the rematch. Karakhanyan submitted Bubba Jenkins by guillotine in their first meeting. Took different paths in their careers as of late. Bubba on a 3-fight win streak, Georgie on a 2-fight losing streak, and now they're meeting again. So it's a really good fight here. Who do you have?
I'm going back and forth in this fight. I can see both guys winning, but I think although Georgie is the guy that's looking for the win, I like Bubba Jenkins in this fight, even though he lost the first fight.
I think Bubba Jenkins has developed over this time. I'm gonna go with Georgie. Okay. I think his submission game is pretty sick, and I don't know. I think he's a little bit more of a veteran than Bubba.
And we interviewed Georgie, so go ahead and go back to our archives and you can check our interview with him.
Yeah, we had Georgie on a few weeks back, a couple episodes back, so you can go and check that out.
Yeah.
You have Derek Anderson against Saad Awad in the co-main event. Who do you have for this one?
Saad, right?
Yeah, Saad Awad. Yeah, we saw Saad at the last Bellator that we were in attendance. Coming off a victory right there, KO victory pretty much. I'm gonna go Saad Awad also. Benson Henderson in the main event against Patricky Ferrer. Who do you have?
I like Benson Henderson's fight. I think he realizes.
Patricio, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I like Benson Henderson. I think he realizes that he needs to win, and I think he's a better striker. He's a bigger fighter, and I like him to stop Pitbull in this fight.
Me too. I'm gonna go with Benson Henderson for the victory, possibly by decision. I think this is a must-win for Benson Henderson to establish himself as a top Bellator prospect. So, he's got to win this fight. I think he's got more tools in the toolbox than Patricky does. So, or at least Patricio. I always get them confused because they pretty much look exactly alike. Or at least one has a mustache now.
Yeah.
You also have 1FC on Saturday this weekend. So Bellator 160 on Friday, 1FC 46 on Saturday, along with UFC on Fox 21. That's Maya versus Condit headlining that card. It's going to be it's an awesome card, huh? It's really...
Yeah, it just sounds like it's after the weekend with 202.
Yeah, 202. You almost forget that it's this weekend. So that's taking place in British Columbia, Canada at the Rogers Arena. Just going off the main card, Joe Lauzon, Jim Miller kicking out the main card. Who do you have for this one?
I have Joe Lauzon in this fight.
Joe Lauzon? I'm going to go with Joe Lauzon too. I think I think they're both in the same point in their careers right now. I'm gonna go with Joe Lauzon now.
Yeah.
You have Beck Rawlings, Paige Van Zandt. The return of Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah, this is a tough fight to pick. I'm gonna pick Paige Van Zandt, considering her last fight.
I think so too. I'll probably go Paige. I think she'll most likely. Beck has improved stand up on her last
Very
fight.
much so. Yeah.
She has very very much improved stand up. Although I think Paige is going to grind out a decision and pretty much take her down and
her scrambles are great.
Scrambles are great. So I think she's going to avoid the stand up with Beck and probably grind out a decision. Anthony Pettis, much needed victory against Charles Oliveira in the co-main event.
I think Anthony Pettis has been exposed. I like Charles Oliveira to win this fight. I think he can out wrestle Anthony, and I think it's a bit. I think as far as the striking, it's pretty much even. But I like Oliveira in this fight.
I'm gonna go with Oliveira too.
Yeah,
I think Anthony. I don't know what's going on with him. You could point to a number of different things, but Anthony is not the same fighter he used to be. Charles Oliveira, I think, is still a tough out for anybody. And I think I agree with. I think the wrestling is going to be a key factor. The jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I think he's going to grind out a decision over Anthony. Carlos Condit, Damian Maia in the main event. This is going to be an awesome one. What do you think?
Oh, man, it's a hard fight to pick.
It is.
Damian Maia relies on his jiu-jitsu sometimes a little too much. I think Carlos Condit moves well where he can avoid getting taken down. I think he can hurt Damian Maia with punches and possibly stop him either TKO or knockout. So I'm going to pick Carlos Condit to win this fight.
This one's tough.
No, it's tough. Because Damian Maia 170 is a different beast.
And his wrestling is so... man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with Carlos Condit because I like Carlos Condit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Maia just out-wrestles the shit out of him.
Yeah. So, once he has him in his guard, it's pretty much done.
Because we already know Carlos is, pretty easy to take down.
He kicks a lot in his fights, yeah. Yeah,
he gets taken down a lot. It's a pretty much striker versus grappler. So I'm going to go Carlos because I like the guy, man. I like it every time he fights. But Damian is just a beast. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's tough.
Yeah.
If you're trying to bet and get our opinion, I don't really know what to tell you. All right, so that's pretty much the show. Thank you for Kyra Batara to be on the show. We look forward to her fight on the next Rizin card on September 25th. Make sure you look for that. Bunch of fights coming up. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and iTunes channels to get all the content that we're going to bring you from Bellator 160. And thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, you can follow us on social media. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. Follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James. So you can follow on all platforms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the MMA Complex. And yeah, Josh and I are going to be not only at Bellator 160, but we're going to be at the Fit Expo too.
Oh,
getting our chemicals, our body filled with chemicals. So
the Fit Expo, Anaheim.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for our event videos for both Bellator and the Fit Expo. You get a chance, you should follow Callie Murphy on Instagram. Just kidding.
Big fan of women's volleyball Olympics. You ate that shit up, huh?
I'm going to miss them.
Me too.
Yeah, so just check out our coverage for 160 and then the Fit Expo and much more.
On the
Enjoy
next
the
episode.
fights. Yeah, next episode.
It's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to get my body filled with chemicals. But until then, enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.